So today we are going to be talking about absolute value equations. Tomorrow we'll talk about absolute value inequalities. Friday we'll take a quiz. Yep.
We're doing notes right now?
We're going to do notes right now. You okay with that?
Of course.
Yep. Let's get after them then. Yep. So first off, what I would like you to, or for us to talk about is I'd like us to kind of talk about what it truly means, or what the concept of an absolute value truly means. Okay? Now, in life, there's the street definition of it. And then there's the more book definition, more wordy, more mathy definition. The nerd definition, if you would, yes. Okay? All right. So what do you think? Let's throw out some ideas about absolute value, and maybe we'll get one to sit with one of the two. What do you got, man?
If a number was like absolute great.
Absolute value number would be its absolute greatest. Okay, all right. It's one way of thinking about it. Can't say that I've heard that one. Yes, ma'am?
Oh man,
I like everything about that but the word amount. Can you think of a different word? Maybe that starts with D? It's like distance. Yeah, okay. So what do you think? Do you think that one's the wordy bookie definition, or do you think that's more about the streets? What do you think? She said the distance a number is from 0. That's the book one, actually. Yep. Yep. The distance, that's why it's positive. Any number is from 0 on a number line. That's the true definition of absolute value. You put the question to give the street definition, what the kids are saying. We put it this way. What do you do when you do an absolute value? What? Just make whatever positive, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay?
yeah, so like when it says absolute great, that's not it. That's all I'm You just shake like
Scholar right there. Back row scholar.
Make it positive.
Or make it the greatest that it can be.
Yes, sir.
That's
Absolute greats.
absolute greatest. So those are two kind of definitions that I know of for absolute value. So when we're dealing with absolute value, and we got like the absolute value of 15, well, in your brain, what your brain is telling, or what your brain is asking you when it sees that is, okay, how far away is 15 from 0 on a number line? 15. Same thing with the next one. How far away is negative 8 from 0 on a number line? 8 away. Now in C, right, you got to kind of be careful because we're upper level math now. Remember, we're college algebra. Okay? So being that we're college algebra, we got to think collegely. Okay? When I take the absolute value of -8, that's just going to give me 8, right? But the negative out in front doesn't get cleared because of the absolute value. So the answer here is -8. Yeah?
You didn't box the answer.
You want me to box them, man?
Yeah.
I don't want to deny you.
Something about that I really like.
I feel like you like this a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah?
I'm quite good, man.
So when we're going to solve an absolute value equation, we've got a couple of different steps. Okay? So our first step is, and I like this terminology a little bit better, we're going to write two equations without the absolute value sign. One of them is going to equal the positive other side. And the second is going to equal the negative. Hold on, I don't like how this is. That there.
You're really good at writing.
It's no different than you writing on your paper, honestly.
Because I've had vowels teachers that couldn't write.
Alright? So we're going to make two separate equations. One where it equals the positive of the other side, or so we just write it basically as is without the absolute value, and one where it equals the negative of that whole side. Okay? Then we're going to solve those. Then we're going to check our answers. Okay? Because we like answer checks. Okay? All right, so let's put those three into work. Okay? So first off, we've got the absolute value of x is equal to 4. So then what we would say is we would rewrite it without the absolute value, and we'd set it equal to the other side, just the positive of it. Okay? And then we would write it without the absolute value, and we'd set it equal to the negative of that whole side.
So it would be a negative x. It would be -4.
Yep. Okay? And then we go through and we solve it. Well, this one's just done for us. Okay? So then we got to check it. Okay? 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. 4 is equal to 4. Absolute value of -4. 4 is equal to 4. Checked out, works out. So I could either write my answer, I could just circle x equals 4 and x equals -4. That works for me. Or I could write it as 4 and -4. Or I could write, in this case, I could write it as plus or minus 4 or something like that. Okay? But somehow, some way, we're going going to get that. Okay. Take it up one notch, one extra step, if you will. Okay. So we would say 2x minus 4 equals 8, and 2x minus 4 equals negative 8. So those would be my two equations. Left one, I'm going to add 4. Gives me 2x equals 12. I'm going to divide by 2. Gives me x equals 6. Right one, I'm going to add 4. Gives me 2x equals negative 4. Going to divide by 2. Gives me x equals negative 2. Now I need to check them. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. The absolute value of 8 is 8. Works out. Okay. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Absolute value of negative 8 is 8. 8 is equal to 8. So my answers here are negative 2 and 6. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Awesome sauce. Try both of those. What's the first, or what are the two equations for this first one?
2x plus 3 equals 11. 2x plus 3 equals 11.
Oops. I was making an A and not an X. I know. Okay, love it. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So that's going to give me 2x equals 8. Divide by 2 is going to give me x equals 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. Absolute value of 11 is 11. Checks out. Subtract 3. Gives me 2x equals negative 14. Divide by 2. Gives me x equals negative 7.
Yeah.
2 times negative 7 is negative 14. Negative 14 plus 3 is negative 11. Absolute value of negative 11 is 11. Checks out. Both of them check out. Gives me negative 7 and 4 as my two answers. What? I'm OCD like that. Yeah, I like to put them in numerical order.
But like if we didn't do that,
You're fine. That's the cross that I have.
for some reason I've been 4 is a small number.
As opposed to a 7. No, I get it. H minus 2 equals negative 4, and H minus, oops, forgot the and part. And H minus 2 equals positive 4. Add 2. H equals negative 2. Add 2. H equals 6. Yes? Both of them work out? Yep.
Sure.
Why are you looking for me now?
I don't know. I didn't get this.
Oh, you didn't get this one?
Like, I don't know if it like works.
What do you mean you don't know if it works?
Like, I don't know.
Talk to me, Goose.
The -4.
Yeah, something about that. Because you know why? Remember how I said that everybody should check their answers? Everybody that agreed with these two answers lied to me.
We didn't lie, we're just dumb.
No, everybody lied to me.
Oh.
Nobody checked their answers on this one.
Yeah, I did.
But well, so it still worked out?
Yeah.
Still is good? Yeah. Okay.
Hang on, wait a second.
There's no way.
Wait a minute.
I was not.
He's lying to us
Oh,
because
it's
he
because
wants
it's a
to.
-4. You can't have an absolute value.
He's lying to us because he knows that. Oh, are you talking about B?
Oh, you can't have a.
Oh, I thought you were talking about A. My bad.
No, I'm talking about B.
Oh,
Is it
no,
because
yeah,
you
I
can't
didn't
have
check B.
absolute and
I
negative
didn't.
and
Well, check them.
Yeah, it's the absolute value of a -4. It doesn't work.
So what's -2 minus 2?
-4.
-4. What's the absolute value of -4?
4.
4. Is 4 equal to -4?
I don't know.
No.
It could be.
The
No.
absolute values of the two.
But is 4 equal to -4? No, so that one gets thrown away. 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2. 4. What's the absolute value of 4? 4.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Is 4 equal to -4? No. So both of them got kicked out. Okay? So we don't have any possible solution.
That was a trick one.
I got scanned.
Really, it wasn't. Because you didn't even have to do any work on that one. Because if you would have listened to the street definition, where we makes it positive, okay? So an absolute value cannot equal a negative number.
I thought you just take the positive, because then you make 2 positive, and then you subtract.
No, we don't make the 2 positive. Because we've got to make the other side positive.
Oh, yeah.
So what those two were those two were what are called extraneous solutions. An extraneous solution is an answer or a solution to your equation that fails the check. We'll get more into extraneous solutions when we're dealing with rational functions later on, because those create holes in our graphs. But an extraneous solution is a solution that we get that then fails the check step or the check stage. We should always be checking for extraneous solutions. That's why we have at the end of every problem is the check step. Okay? So let's try a more algebraic example. So this is our problem. We're still going to do it the exact same way. Absolute value of 2x plus 5 is equal to 3x. So my first step is I need to make two equations. 2x plus 5 equals 3x. I just basically rewrite my equation without the absolute values. Second equation, I write the 2x plus the 5 without the absolute value sign. But now I take it a negative of that entire side, even when there's an algebraic stuff going on over there. Not just the first term, not just the second term, okay? Not just however many terms there are over there, but every single one of those terms needs to be negated. Okay? That entire side needs to be negated. And now I go through and now I solve it as normal. So now I would subtract 5. Oops, excuse me, tap the brakes. I wouldn't subtract 5 in this case. I would subtract 2x. I forgot there's no other number over there. And that would give me 5 is equal to x.
Doesn't that would work?
What do you mean?
Like the x equals 5, doesn't that work for the
Well, let's check it. What do you say? 2 times 5 is, plus 5 is 15. Okay? 3 times 5? So that one works out, right? So that's checked and good. Try the other one. Now we've got 2x plus 5 equals negative 3x. Subtract 2x. That's going to give me 5 is equal to negative 5x. Divide both sides by negative 5. And that's going to give me negative 1 is equal to x. Yes? Okay. So, 2 times negative 1 2 times negative 1, negative 2 plus 5, 3. Three times negative 1 is 3 equal to negative 3. No, so that does not work then, right? So that one gets thrown out. So then the only answer that we have left is 5. Questions, comments, concerns, clarification?
Always that negative 1 is not straight in the solution.
Not necessarily. That's why you gotta check. It just happened in this case. This one was, yeah, the negative 1. Was straight. Not necessarily always.
Is it because it was a negative with the variable?
Because the variable didn't have anything else to it. Yeah. But if we would have had like a plus 7 on the other side or something like that, who knows? Okay. Love it. So now you should be able to, on your green sheet, do the next 3 problems, 5, 6, and 7.